Hey, it's Adam. I'm a tattoo artist and I'm also a toy customizer. In today's video, I'm going to be turning this into this. I have been customizing dolls since lockdown in 2020, and then in June of 2020, I opened my tattoo studio, Fine Line Willie. Here, I promote self-expression, tattoo people all day long, and I have a lot of my collectibles here. I also like to put tattoos on dolls. I like to customize toys, change their looks, and of course, I had to tattoo the Labubu. And then I thought, well, I have so many extra doll parts, and I want to make a furry Labubu doll. And of course, that's the second I saw someone else do it already on Instagram and TikTok, and I was immediately late. It is what it is, though. I still wanted to make it myself. I'm a very hands-on person, and this is how I relax at night. Some people do crossword puzzles. I like to set myself up with dolls and sew them and glue them. I'm like a little Geppetto. If there's two Disney characters that I would mix together to make me, it would be Sid and Geppetto. Yeah, and maybe throw a little bit of joy in there. Controlling and delusionally happy. Okay, let's switch to voiceover and I'll show you what I did.
All right, everyone, fresh start. We are going to have a good day, which will turn into a good week, which will turn into a good year, which turns into a good life.
All right, everyone, let's dive in. Let's start with the head of the doll. I chose a rainbow high doll head, one of many in my collection, and she just felt perfect for the creation of my very own Labubu inspired custom doll. Look at them together. Full disclosure, I have no idea what I'm doing, and I don't know exactly how I'll get there. I had a few different dolls in mind. Some with interesting hands and feet. I have this Pixel girl who's pretty cool, and a couple of vintage Shirley Temple dolls, though I'm hesitant to cut these out. In the end, I'm aiming for something like this pixie body, and here's a rough idea of what it might look like when it's done. This whole project took me about 3 days of actual work, spread out over a week and a half. So what you're about to see are some highlights, but I still wanted to include enough of the process in case you're curious how it came together. I found a pattern on Etsy, which I'll link below, and look, there's Cookie, my cat, who has never seen doll customization before. She's very intrigued. I printed the pattern and cut out all of the pieces using a test fabric first, just to see if I needed to adjust the sizing before cutting into the real material. I thought about sewing up a full practice version, but just cutting the pieces and visualizing how they fit was enough for me to learn the structure and kind of figure out how I'm going to make this doll. This pattern was specifically made for creating your own Labubu, and since my doll was a little different, I had to take my own routes. But I'll still link this down below if you're curious and you wanted to make a project just like this. So for the ears, I picked 2 different colors and used this little method. And it actually turned out really, really cute. I really like embroidering on things, so this was a lot of fun. Once I had these pieces, all I had to do was put the ears together, but of course I couldn't help myself in seeing how this was going to turn out. Isn't she going to be so cute? When doing this, make sure you tuck the hair into, I'm telling you this like you're going to take my steps and use this as a tutorial, but hey, you never know. But definitely tuck the hair in, so that way when you flip the little ears inside out, the hair can be long on the other side. Once you flip it, you got to make sure you release the little hairs from the stitching. And this could be tedious, but it's a lot of fun. And then of course, once you have one, you have to make 2. I'm working on learning how to do transitions. Admittedly, filming this is really difficult. And let's move on to the other pieces. For the head, I used Fabri-Tac stretch glue to seal the fabric edges and give her a clean look around the face. I didn't want a visible seam, so I curled the fabric inward and pressed it down. Then I reinforced it with Gorilla Glue and stretched a small half circle at the bottom of the fabric so it would fit snugly over the doll's head. Press it down really well so it really sticks. Next, I started building the body frame with wire. This took some trial and error. I also had to cut off the legs and feet from that other doll for this build, and that process took a while. Definitely day 2 at this point. Honestly, time gets blurry when you're making things like this. Some days I worked for just an hour before bed. Other times I had an afternoon to spare. All in all, it was probably a solid week's worth of work. Once the body was wired, I did the rest off camera and I just stitched all the little body pieces around the arms and legs. And I also wrapped the legs and the arms inside with material so that the wire wouldn't be so sharp. And then I added the keyring element. I got this keyring set on Amazon and I went to my local Michael's for the right color ribbon. And there it is on top, pinned for now, and I'm gonna sew it on when I do the back. And I actually decided that she needs a tail, so let's give her a tail. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, let me know. I look up to so many incredible doll customizers on this app, and making a video like this is not easy. I usually work on my dolls while relaxing and in front of the TV, and I don't worry about camera setup. But so many people ask me to show the process. So now that I'm YouTubing, I wanted to bring some doll content to YouTube. I am definitely part Geppetto and part Sid. And I'm not gonna stop customizing dolls anytime soon. Flipping material that you've sewn together inside out is so satisfying. Well, this is the back of the head, and now I basically have to sew everything in. I have to sew in the ears, I have to sew in the keychain tag, sew the back of the head on, and stuff that. And it was so much fun. I love doing stuff like this. This step is definitely a little bit tedious, but picking the hair out of the seams made a huge difference. It just made her look more fluffy and less hair was trapped in the stitching. I was stuffing as I went along and sewing her up together, and she was starting to look real. It was a little spooky. Now I made a small material for her tail with a little yellow ending at the end. It's just what I wanted. And after you flip it, you're going to want to stuff it just a little so the wire isn't the only thing inside of her tail. And she is coming together. All right, now that the tail is on and she's mostly put together and stuffed, I'm going to put her legs together off camera and I'm going to show you the finished project. And I've called her Fuzzette. Harry, oh, this is my cat Harry. He really was like dying to know what's going on. Did you see his paw? He loves it. Here she is, my dear Fuzzette. I wouldn't have her any other way. I especially really like her strap, which I was really happy to find these little hoops. And I also really like her wire body. I like that she can pose. I like that she can move her tail. And I love that she's a keychain, although slightly a little too big for me to wear as a keychain, and I don't really wear bags on purses. But she's just a moment of her time. She's saying, yeah, I saw the Labubu and I can do that too. And now she can, and now she's gonna be hanging somewhere at Fine Line Lily with my other plushes, or just like hanging out as a cute doll. She's eventually probably going to go with my Rainbow High collection. And I just think she's really cute. So this was a really fun project. If you do something like this, please let me know. I would love to hear about it. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm usually putting out tattoo videos, but I really love toy customizing, and I want to share more of that from me. So you might see a toy customizing video as well. That's it for today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!